Let me bring in Senator Chris Coons, a Democrat from Delaware. Senator, I want to pick up on what you just heard from Ken Delaney. And do you think there's a cover-up going on here?
Well, Chris, this is very concerning. It strongly suggests that this is yet another instance of the Trump administration not believing, not relying on the intelligence community, and then not fully engaging in the sort of aggressive response against Russian interference in our domestic affairs that is called for, that is justified, that is warranted. I was upset and alarmed by reports just a few weeks ago that President Trump didn't even raise with Putin intelligence reports that they were offering bounties on American troops in Afghanistan. This suggestion that there's heightened Russian intelligence activity supporting a social media campaign that is an intentional effort to interfere in our election is just another reminder of why we need a president who will stand up to Putin. That next president will be Joe Biden.
In the meantime, as you well know, this report comes as there have been a series of reports on attempts by Russia and other foreign actors to influence the November election. I just wonder, though, what can be done over the next 62 days, or I guess you would say potentially even less than 62 days, since so many people are voting early. What can be done between now and the time people are casting their ballots, or can anything be done?
Well, we've got career professionals at the FBI, at the NSA, who work under the Director of National Intelligence, who we have to hope and believe are going to do their duty by our nation. These efforts by the Trump administration need to be called out. They need to be challenged and tested by members of the House and Senate. We have seen the Senate Intelligence Committee actually act in a bipartisan way on issues around Russian interference. So my hope is that that one functioning committee of the Senate will take this issue up as soon as we get back in next Tuesday.
What do you think the chances are that actually happens?
Look, I've been so disheartened, 50-50 at best. Chris, I've been very disheartened by the refusal of the Republican majority in the Senate to stand up to President Trump, to call him out on instances that implicate our democracy, our elections, and our national security.
Meantime, we've got a slew of new polls this morning, and presidential races, we all know, they typically tighten around and after Labor Day, so it's not necessarily unexpected. But I want to ask you about a brand new Monmouth poll of Pennsylvania. It's just out this hour. Among other things, it shows the race is a tight 1 to 3 points when you look at the expected turnout level. Joe Biden has lost ground among men, preferring Trump 56 to 37%. It was a much closer race back in July. And even though he has a lead among voters under age 50 at 49 to 40, but it's not as sizable, again, as it was just over 6 weeks ago. And maybe one of the most concerning parts for the Biden campaign is that in a key part of the suburban voters, and it seems that the president's message of law and order is resonating. I ask this because this is one of only 2 states where Joe Biden has spent significant time this summer, where you are in Delaware and in Pennsylvania. So what do you make of this poll, other polls that show a narrowing, and how does he address it?
I think Joe's speech out in Pittsburgh just within the last few days was exactly the message folks needed to hear. Fox News and President Trump and a variety of other outlets have been ginning up a false narrative that somehow Joe Biden supports things he has never supported. He doesn't support violence, rioting. He doesn't support defunding the police. Joe Biden supports law and order, meaning he opposes violence in all its forms, whether it's right-wing vigilantes or folks who are rioting and looting. But he is also calling for police reform that meets this moment of racial injustice and inequality and is what we need. So Joe is going to keep delivering that message. He's going to Kenosha later this week. He's going to keep connecting, listening to, and responding to the genuine concerns of Pennsylvanians and of middle-class Americans across the country. Frankly, I think it is laughable that a president whose entire inner circle, from his presidential campaign team to his personal advisors, have ended up indicted or in jail, is standing up and saying he's the law and order president. The lawlessness and the chaos that we have seen in a few cities are in no small part because of Donald Trump's leadership.
As you know, Senator, that's already baked in. Are you saying you're not one of the Democrats who's concerned as you see these polls tightening, as you see some at least suggestions that this message that the president is putting out there may be resonating with some key demographic groups?
Chris, I've always thought this was going to be a tight election. I never believed it was going to be a runaway election. And I am frankly also concerned about models now that are showing that on election night, Donald Trump may initially show a significant positive result that will only be addressed over several days as mail-in ballots get counted. So the efforts to try and interfere with the Postal Service, I think, are something that, with the help of the media, we've gotten a lot of attention to. But there is still, in poll after poll, a big difference between Democrats who are typically planning to vote by mail and Republicans who are typically planning to vote in person. That may well produce a challenging result where on election night, initially Trump's results will look far better than they actually are several days later after all the mail-in ballots get counted. So I know that Joe Biden is the right person to be the next president of the United States because of his character, his experience, his values. The challenge is simply pushing back against a divisive message that President Trump has been delivering, not just for the last week, but for the last 4 years.
And we're seeing some pictures right now of your friend and longtime colleague, Joe Biden, out there in Delaware. Senator Chris Coons, thank you so much.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.